Pendulum monsters are very powerful. You need to understand them so that you can counter them, or play them yourself. Now the first thing that you need to know about pendulum monsters is that when they are placed in a monster zone, they are treated as just a monster. Not a spell monster, just a monster. The same holds true for a pendulum monster that is not on the field. Normal pendulum monsters still have access to normal support. Instead of summoning a pendulum monster in the monster zone, you can place it in a pendulum zone. A pendulum monster cannot be set in a pendulum zone, nor can it be replaced like a field spell. While in this zone, the card is treated as a spell, but not a specific type such as normal or quick play. The card then gains a pendulum effect, if it has one. The pendulum effect is located directly beneath the monster image in the center of the card. If this space is blank, then there is no effect. In addition to a pendulum effect, a pendulum card will always have a pendulum scale when it is in a zone. The pendulum scale is located at the middle left of the card, which is blue, and the middle right of the card, which is red. The blue scale is used when a pendulum card is in the left pendulum zone, while the red scale is used when in the right pendulum zone. So far, there are no pendulum monsters that have differing red and blue scales. However, since Konami issued this ruling, there will most likely be pendulum monsters with differing scales released at a later date. Until those cards are released, placement in the pendulum zones does not matter. For example, a left zone of 7 and a right zone of 3 is the same as a left zone of 3 and a right zone of 7. For the pendulum scales, you want one really low and the other really high to give you a larger range for pendulum summoning. You can pendulum summon levels between the scales, but not including the scales. Now, for example, since I'm using scales of 3 and 7, I can pendulum summon monsters at level 4, 5, and 6. To pendulum summon, special summon any number of monsters from the hand with levels between the pendulum scales. A pendulum summon can only be performed once per turn. When a pendulum monster on the field is destroyed in the monster zone or pendulum zone, distributed, or is used for a fusion or synchro summon, it is sent face up to the extra deck instead of going to the graveyard. If the summon of a pendulum monster is negated, or its activation in the pendulum zone is negated, it is sent to the graveyard instead. A pendulum monster sent to the graveyard from the hand, main deck, extra deck, or being detached as an XYZ material is sent to the graveyard like normal. Pendulum monsters cannot be sent to the graveyard from the field. Let's check out how two different draw cards that send a monster to the grave interact with pendulums. White Elephant's Gift cannot be used on a normal pendulum monster, as sending to the graveyard is a cost to activate the card. Wonder Wand can be equipped to a spellcaster for the attack boost, but you cannot send the pendulum monster to the grave to draw 2 cards. Monsters face up in the extra deck can be pendulum summoned as well. Monsters can be summoned from the hand and face up in the extra deck at the same time. Pendulum cards in the pendulum zone are not destroyed after performing a pendulum summon, which makes pendulum summoning every turn extremely easy. Pendulum summons of a single monster can be negated by cards like Thunder King Ryo and Solemn Warning, but they cannot negate pendulum summons of multiple monsters. Pendulum summons are hard countered by cards that prevent special summons, such as the Vanity series. Pendulum monsters are susceptible to banishment, so cards like BLS and Dimensional Prism work wonders. Destroying cards in the pendulum zone before the opponent has a chance to pendulum summon is arguably the most reliable way of countering pendulum. The staple card MST should be played at 3 just to deal with them. The best ST destruction cards to side against Pendulums are Fairy Wind for the mass spell destruction, or Typhoon if you're worried about Fairy Wind self-burn. That wraps up this tutorial. If you have any questions, comment below.